Welcome to Season 2, Episode 2 of the Deep Stone Podcast. I'm joined once again by Nick and John.
Hi.
This is kind of a chill day for us. We've been grinding a lot, so the raid race was yesterday. What was the clan that won that?
Well, we don't know, do we? Like, they are gonna review all the footage and probably get an official word out on Monday, they said. So
yeah, but the team that at least completed it first, according to the views on Twitch, was Crawvavity or something like that. So
Clawtivity or something.
Something like that. Well,
But
if they win,
know.
Congrats. If they're the ones that won. That was definitely a really interesting raid race. I mean, I think that raid caught everybody off guard with some of its mechanics and boss fights and maps. It's not much of a spoiler now, but I definitely did not expect that final boss. That was really surprising. So if you guys can remember anything, or if you can try to piece together the lore that you think you could tell from what we saw, feel free. Oh, wow. I was really taken aback by it in a good way, but I was unexpected.
Well, for me, the big thing was that he had a space station that was still active, because we all expected to go into the Deep Stone Crypt, and each person probably made up their own mind on what that was going to look like. For me, it was going to be a crypt, a literal underground, ancient cavern area where whatever was in there. But there was nothing like that. It was all modern technology or golden age technology, pre-collapse stuff. And then you go to space, and 60% of it's on a space station.
Yeah.
Which was
But that's how all the crypt has been described in all the lore pieces. Like, I was looking through that, all the Dark Future lore, all that was basically, when they mentioned Deep Stone Crypt, it was always basically synonymous with Clovis's lab.
Mm. So,
yes, I thought he'd built a lab, he'd put a lab in there, but as we know from exploring there now, going into eternity, into creation, it's literally a lab, isn't it? So
yeah,
I want to know where he got the name from, because the name's got to have come from somewhere, and that could potentially be. This might still be more to discover. We're only two weeks into the season, aren't we? And to the story, so
it is kind of a misnomer if that's all it is. Like, it's such a weird name for it. Yeah. I agree.
It's an awesome name. It's an awesome name for a podcast as well.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
somebody should use it.
Maybe because the humans that become Exo are laid to rest there, and they're reborn as Exo. I don't know. I'm just grasping for straws right now.
That could be crypt, but why Deep Stone? It's is it because it's buried deep underground? But we don't get a sense of how deep underground we are. We get a sense of how far into space we went, but we don't get a sense of how far underground we are. So, and as the AI says, which obviously turns out to be Clovis, the secrets of the Deep Stone Crypt are available to everybody now, allies, enemies alike. So there's probably still more for us to discover. 2 days ago, the content was looking thin on the ground, and now we've got 3 new quests that came from the strike being completed. The 4th part of the Darkness quest line was open today. So
yeah, I mean, we definitely said last episode this would be a more positive episode. We had to get the negatives out of the way. I think it was very important that we got the negative stuff out of the way from the get-go. That way we could focus on the cool things. And I know when Luke Smith said it's not as big as Forsaken, I guess maybe we could take a part of that to say it's not as the maps and stuff are not as big as Forsaken, but there's content sprinkled within, and that I can live with. I'll never get over what I was mad about before, but whatever, so we got to find the positive in what we have, and I'm very impressed by that. I mean, this raid, I haven't even played it yet, but it's incredibly impressive. I mean, this might be the coolest raid since D1.
Oh, yeah.
Really because of the lore, the weapons, the armor. I think everybody in the community can agree that the weapons and armor are incredible looking.
Yeah.
They're in the collection, so listeners, if you haven't, go into the collections.
I'll pull them up now, actually.
Take a look.
Oh, yeah, same.
Oh my god, it looks so cool.
And just the setting too. like
yeah.
where we go, all the places like that. That's what blew me away. Like the jumping section in the middle of, like between the second and third encounter, all that, like just atmosphere, and the sound design also. They were like, there was some Space Odyssey type of music in between, and like really that sort of classic sci-fi soundtrack. I loved it.
Yeah, it definitely gave me the vibe of like what I loved so much about D1 was the uber sci-fi feel, the dark sci-fi, and I'm a huge lover of like dark sci-fi, like, you know, uh, like don't get me wrong, huge Halo fanboy, but like Mass Effect was my shit. Like, you have that super sci-fi mixed with the Reapers and that Lovecraftian horror, and like I think we're starting to get back on track. We're starting to leave that medieval Forsaken stuff behind, and we're in Hive, all that shit, and we're starting to embrace more of the sci-fi feel. Like the one thing I always will remember about the Beyond Light trailer was the sci-fi soundtrack, that techno, you know. So this whole raid's setting really works for me because, like, I mean, anybody who knows me knows that I've been begging for them to go back to the sci-fi since Vault of Glass, since House of Wolves, and how like weirdly sci-fi the Fallen are, but they're still like not entirely. And then like Rise of Iron with the Siva and all that, and like the tech, and just like I love that shit. So like I eat it up. So that was really impressive to me. Now, let's quickly talk about the final boss. Very interesting that they went with that. I feel like a lot of people in the community did not expect that. So let's talk about, what do you guys think? John, why don't you start real quick, John?
So I guess we'll say who it is. It's Tanix, and what just we will message you back and forth, obviously, in our chat, and I was really hoping that he would go down during the third encounter and we would get something else. So whether it was something to set us up for the future, whether it was the Clovis Bray AI, the giant head, or something like that. But then when he emerged from that rubble and was merged with a Shank and became Shanix, or however people are calling it, I was like, that actually works, because again, we don't know the lore behind it because we haven't got the lore tabs from doing the raid or anything. But there's got to be an explanation on how he has survived stuff, because he merged with Siva, so maybe it's that allowed him to bond with a machine. I don't know, but it worked well, and the fight looked good. The fight looked very, very, very good. So I was impressed with the final encounter. The mechanics looked good. It looked like a fun fight. So look forward to trying to get it done over the next week or so.
Mm-hmm. So. What about you, Nick?
Well, in terms of the Tanix thing, yeah, I don't know how literally we have to take the Tanix Reborn in the third encounter. Just the way they're naming him, like he was Abomination, sure, at the end, because like it was a pretty sudden transformation. Like, okay, he had a plan B set up for his Shank body, but then just him maybe just having been resurrected, and who resurrected him, and I think that's the big question. Like, what can we expect? Other reprisals? Is this like a sign of things to come? Are we gonna get, like, I can't name anybody off the top of my head, but if that's the whole thing where Clovis has been enabling some technology for like as a plot device, they can just start bringing back people. I don't know.
Yeah,
Cade?
I mean, I don't want a bunch of reprisals. We had that with the moon, and it was like I can make an exception for Tanix because like it's a raid, and like it was done in a very, very interesting way. I don't want this to become like a thing, especially with regular content. But I mean, I guess I'll give it a pass with Tanix just because like he's a classic character that's been like he's known now for this. Like he's always coming back. We can never fucking get rid of him, and so I was definitely like just in shock. I was like, Tanix? I thought I read it wrong. Like was like, what? Like, no, I don't feel like 98% of the community would have been able to guess that.
Yeah.
So
yeah, and
that was definitely very interesting. But I definitely got Wrath of the Machine vibes from the final fight.
In general, I think the raid.
That's my favorite raid. So like for me, like that's my favorite raid in terms of mechanics and in terms of atmosphere, music.
Yeah.
You know, guns.
Because that was also like an indoor sort of technology-based sort of setting, which I love so much.
Yeah, that raid was incredible. Oh my god! But I mean, I think this raid's gonna give the old raids a real fight, because like I think this raid's probably gonna go down as better than Crota.
Oh yeah.
Because Crota's barely a raid, and Kingsfall and Vault of Glass. Kingsfall's a great raid. Don't get me wrong, like it really is, but the difference that a lot of the D2 raids have over it now is mobile bosses, like fights that include like a lot of actual movement and like real mechanics. Because like if we boil it down, Kingsfall is just you guys shooting and one person doing all the work.
Yeah, standing on a lot of plates. Stand on this plate, stand on that plate.
Yeah, and I mean it just shows how far the design has come with these encounters and stuff. But I mean, like I think that really changes the outlook of it. I mean, Vault of Glass and Wrath are the only raids in D2. I mean D1 that really included a lot of work, but Vault even was really down to one person.
Yeah.
And Wrath was the only one where like multiple people were doing multiple jobs. And this one I think really captures that throwback feel.
Yeah.
So
there's still some fun mechanics that I feel like well, Last Wish had some fun mechanics, but I still feel like there's some stuff they should like some a bit more straightforward things. Like remember those safe rooms in like was it the second encounter in Wrath where you had to go in and close the door quick.
Yeah,
that was like some of the best moments you can have, like emergent gameplay. So I hope they don't completely ditch those simple like satisfying mechanics.
Agreed. Yeah, like one guy gets stuck and you're like, no! Like, rest, our brother.
We have to leave you. Just save the whole team.
You know,
you're
or
not gonna
somebody
make
goes
it.
to the room and you're like, no, you wasted it. Like, you know, but yeah, I agree because like sometimes the raids can get too complicated because like I remember Crown of Sorrow was too complicated by the end.
I agree.
The final encounter, you're like, oh my god, teaching that raid is actually painful for me. And it's not because I don't like teaching raids. It's just like it's hard for new players. It's really hard for a new player to grasp the concept.
It's at a point where you can't like even stop to appreciate your surroundings. Like it could be any amount of cool, but then if you're only like you're looking at your timer, okay, when are we switching? Quick, who am I switching with? Like all your energy goes toward that instead of like maybe jumping around, like doing some kind of
right, and appreciating like the setting and all that.
Like actually using the setting, because you could be anywhere. Because if your only focus is just being like switching with that one guy, and so.
What about you, John?
So, what I concentrated on from it was the storytelling aspect. So, the way that the story was told, why you were going through areas, apart from the sparrow bit at the beginning, because that threw a lot of people off, and that set the tone for me at the beginning. I was like, this is what it's going to be. It's just going to be silly little bits, but once you got past that and you got inside, it was incredible. But having just done the last part of the Born into Darkness bit, it was like 30 seconds long of actual pure storytelling, and you got that in this. Yes, you're playing the encounters, but you had the AI telling you story over the top. So yeah, the books are great and lore and grimoire and everything, but nothing beats a bit of exposition.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what you're getting now, whether it's Tanix jumping out of a pod looking at Atrax, and they don't talk, but why would they stop and talk? And then you've got 6 Guardians there, so he jumped out, you're like, what is there? What the hell's this? That gives you reason to progress on and find out what the hell's going off. You've got a fallen Exo in front of you, that there, lore-wise, yes, they're not going to take time to do an evil monologue to explain how she was created, but there'll be a lore tab for that. Once you've done the encounter, surely it'll be there. So, yeah, I've not done many raids, so in terms of mechanics, I've only got a handful to pick from. But it looked good and it looked chaotic enough, and just the Atrax fight is where a lot of people got stuck, and that looks like it's probably the hardest one in there in terms of timing, because you've got to maximize your DPS on that fake, on the real one, or whichever, however it works. Because if you don't, you're wiping, and it took some clans a long time to figure that out.
How do you know?
Pot shot it.
So you had the one
use
scanner. Yeah,
Yeah.
so one person has the scanner buff, so you have to call it out to your team.
Yeah.
Which I love that kind of mechanic where you have somebody with a very specific job, and your job is to like direct you have some info that nobody else has.
Oh my god!
Just like in Last Wish, when you're like calling out the symbols and stuff like that.
Or like Scourge.
Yeah.
I'm wondering how it's going to work for accessibility, because you've got to think there are some clans out there, very publicized clans that are mute clans or deaf clans, so they can't communicate that. So that's going to be something.
Well, they already had call outs for those, right? You had top, mid, top, bottom, right, or like back, right, back, left, like positions, because it was like set positions.
Yeah,
right?
But if you've got 6 people that can't speak,
yeah, then you have your chat, right? That's what they use, in-game chat.
Right.
Yeah, that's how like LFG, even LFGs use that.
Yeah, maybe have a macro or something set up for it, because having to take the time to stop type in it. Whereas if you have just macro set up like 1 through 6, 1 is top left, 2 is top right, etc. Yeah, that's fair point. Yeah. So
but that's how it's been being done.
How it works.
Yeah, but that's how it's being done in LFGs too. Like just normal raids here, like Last Wish or something. There's almost everything has like a standardized sort of call out system where you can type in like R1, L1. Very easy like things, so that's how I imagine you could do this one. But yeah, it's a good point. Like that's
I would love to be able to ask the design team at Bungie if they ever design encounters for accessibility for deaf or mute people. Like that'd be really interesting if they're like, yes, we do that. Like, because that'd be cool. But yeah, I mean, like I think we can all agree like it was a very cool raid, and we all are really excited to play it. And this might go down as one of the better raids, or one of the best raids I've ever done. So, I mean, everybody that played it apparently was extremely impressed. So I know that Azdacross got stuck on Atrax for a long time. So sorry for him, but let's move on and talk about the new quests that came out. So if you guys want to elaborate what the new quests that came out are, whoever wants to.
Go on.
So they released 2 exotic quests, first of all, and then one of them goes deeper into the whole Clovis Bray thing, the Exo head that was teased at the end of the raid. So the raid unlocked a cutscene at the end, which was then shown to all players when they logged in the next time, and that showed the an instance of Clovis Bray's AI that was uploaded into like a giant Exo head. So then you pick up the sword exotic quest from Banshee, and that basically starts you on a path to like learn more about that. Yeah,
and it's definitely super interesting. And I've reached the part where Anna met. It's not really a spoiler. I mean, most people should be there anyway. I reached the part in the quest with the stranger where she calls Anna, and they meet, and that was just as impactful as you guys said it would be.
That quest. Sorry, yes, we're talking about the previous one.
I finished that part, and that was a really good scene. Just like you guys said it would be. Like, she got overwhelmed, and she was like, I have to think about this. I can't. That was very interesting. I was like, wow, oh no, don't go, oh no. But definitely really, like you said, I'm really, really impressed with the storytelling this season. Like, maybe they can't afford to do a bunch of like high-end cutscenes and stuff, but they're making it work, and I'm really impressed. I mean, like I said, I really like it when the NPCs are interacting with you in the game. Like, maybe they're still not interacting with us in the missions the way I want them to, but at least in the storytelling parts, they're doing well with that, and I really like it. I mean, it really helps. So that's going really well. I mean, they're fleshing out the stranger really well, and I'm happy that she's finally getting some personality and like some backstory. So
yeah,
I'm really impressed by that, and like having it connect to the Dark Future lore book, which is really cool.
Yeah.
I read the thing last night. Well,
Same.
I have like 7 chapters so far, and I read all those, and that is some of the best lore they've ever written. I mean, and so if I'm correct, this is lore from her perspective of her original timeline.
Yes.
So, oh my god. I mean, by this point, most people should have unlocked at least the first 7 chapters. That last chapter with Zavala and the Stranger and Anna and Marasov and
the final battle there. Oh my goodness, yeah.
That sounds super cool.
Yeah.
I wish you could see it. Like I'm like going crazy. Like, John, have you read any of that yet?
Yeah. So I've got chapters 8 and 9 unlocked now.
I haven't gotten those yet.
Yeah.
So
you'll smile at chapter 10.
Oh, okay.
So are you guys doing the thing where you're reading as you're getting him in game, or are you like averse to? Because there's the Ishtar Collective, right, where you can like has compiled everything, which is super cool.
I fucked up. I'll be honest, because like I wasn't reading them at all, and then I remembered that I had them, and I was like, oh shit, let me read some of this, and then I read all of them, and I was like, well, the first 7 that I got, and I was like, oh fuck, this is good shit. Like, so I just looked it up. So let me
Ishtar
see
Collective.
Yeah, so I left off. I finished chapter 7, and that was really good because, like, you see that the Cabal. I mean, it's not much of a tease. It's not much of a we're not ruining anybody's expectations because like you should have read this by now. But finding out that the witch is not in her timeline, that the witch is not Savathun.
Well, like, the witch is, but the one pulling the strings isn't Savathun.
Yeah, right? Like that was really interesting. I was like, wait, what? Like finding out, and spoiler alert for listeners, although it's not much of a spoiler alert. The lore from this book basically explains that the traitor is Eris Morn. And that was like, what? Like, so apparently Stasis corrupted her and she betrayed everyone. And she's been pulling the strings in Elsie Britt's storyline, in her timeline. So the last city was, the bombardment happened. So it was attacked by Aramis and her Dark Empire, along with the Cabal and the Hive, and then they were being led by the Dark Guardians. But then the Dark Guardians betrayed Aramis and all of them and wiped them all out. And I'm assuming probably all turned on each other. So long story short, Elsie and Anna with Rasputin, they find Zavala, who had his leg ripped off by, I believe it was by Eris, right? She called him a non-believer. Off.
I don't remember who it was.
Yeah, he's got a beard. He lost his light.
I thought it was Savathun who did it, but maybe not.
Maybe. And the Traveler abandoned us, which I just know that's going to happen. I just know that's going to happen. Like, that's what the Traveler does. As soon as it knows it might lose, it leaves. So it left us, which fucked up Zavala. Ikora was killed during the siege and was buried under the tower. And so they have to team up with Zavala, with Rasputin, to track down the Traveler, because now they want to steal the Traveler back, basically, force it to fight for us.
And then they use the Leviathan.
Yeah, isn't that crazy?
Yeah, they use the same technology that Gaul used.
Gaul was,
yeah, so they basically, he's living in the old Almighty, and then they use the technology in Rasputin to track it. They meet up with Marasov on the Leviathan, and she's got Cabal stragglers, Fallen, Awoken, all teaming up with them. and then they attack the Traveler, and they latch onto it with Gaul's old weapon, and that's where I left off. But like that whole storyline, I'm like, I want to be in there. I want to see that storyline, and I have a feeling as the DLCs evolve that we're gonna get really close to that timeline, but there's gonna be differences. Like I know that
somebody's gonna betray us, but who is it? Who's gonna die? Would it be?
Who do you think it's gonna be? Let's take an early guess, early bets. Who do you
think? I think it'll be Drifter. So because it's got to be the same circle, so that you'll have the same impact without it being the same person. Because if it's the same person, if it ends up being Eris Morton and Ikora ends up dying, then Elsie's already lost. She's already stuck in that loop. She needs. So I don't know if you guys ever watched Sliders. It's a show from the 90s. I think we mentioned it on the previous episode where they jump through different timelines, and they don't know they're back on their world until the gate squeaks on the house, and they end up back on their world and the gate doesn't squeak, so they think they're not on their world, but they've had the gate fixed. So for Ellis, she needs to go through a timeline where something's different, because if everything keeps happening the same way, she's going to think, oh, I'm still going down that same path. So if Drifter's the one to betray us instead of Eris, then she'll know that she's influencing the outcome. She's making a difference.
Yeah. Well, at some point we're going to see, at least because in this one, I think, was it in this one that Drifter also dies, right? They find him.
They find him in the Deep Stone Crypt.
Yeah.
They don't know what he was doing, but he died somehow, and he was rotting. So, I mean, I don't want Drifter to betray
Exo. That'd be amazing.
Yeah, what if he succeeds, right? That's the thing. Like, if he succeeds getting whatever he was after, then possibly.
Because he's been to Europa before. Wasn't his lore when he was stuck with those people and they got killed by the darkness creatures? Wasn't that on Europa?
I'm not sure.
Because it was on a freezing cold world, and they had no food and stuff, and they were slowly dying, and they were being hunted one by one, and then eventually they turned on each other. I believe it was Europa. I don't know if it was confirmed to be Europa. But yeah, I don't want him to betray us because I like him, but it would make sense.
If they go with the same circle, yeah, so it would. But Eris, at the end of Shadowkeep, it looked like she turned then.
That's the same artifact. Remember, that's the same artifact that they say in the Dark Future book that she was corrupted by.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, they're both sort of equally plausible candidates because they're both like this. Like in one sense, they're such an obvious betrayer, right? That you kind of think that it can't be them because they're so obvious. But then it goes like one step more, and then they actually are. So. In one way, that's even more confusing.
It won't be Zavala. Zavala is going to have a crisis of faith at some point. He has to have one, then he'll recover. It can't be Ikora unless something happens to Osiris, and then that sends her down a dark path potentially. It might actually be some character development for her, but it has to be somebody that's been with us a while. It can't be, Rasputin can't be put in a body and then betray us because he's not actually been around long enough. So we don't know the outcome of the Clovis Bray AI. It can't be Anna, really. It could be Anna, but it wouldn't make sense.
Could
be Tess Universe.
What if it's Zavala? I don't know.
But we had the.
Go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead.
No,
we had the thing we were discussing on a previous episode where the lore for is it the sidearm had like from Sabathun's perspective something that Sabathun's telling us about how Zavala was getting being influenced. I don't know, I'd have to read it again, but there was something about Sabathun basically saying that Zavala is kind of having doubts and starting to turn or something. So that's worth looking into. I don't remember what's the name of the new sidearm. The exotic one.
Exotic sidearm?
Yeah. The one that came out at the end of the previous season.
Whoa, I just finished chapter 8. What the hell?
You're spoiling yourself, aren't you? You haven't got the... yeah, it's pretty big, isn't it?
What?
Yeah.
Ah!
We'll turn dark eventually, my queen.
So this is why Elsie doesn't want
Anna involved, yeah.
Yeah, she doesn't want to teach her.
Mm.
Yeah. So that's why we probably shouldn't say that, right? Like we shouldn't elaborate on that yet.
Yeah, I guess that's one thing we can say.
Well, it depends because you unlock. So I've got 9 and 10 unlocked because I've done that quest line that came out today. So, say this came out in a few days' time, people will have had a chance to do it.
Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, you're right.
Well, how about that's How about that's homework for next week, and next week all bets are off. How about that?
Yeah. So So get chapter 9 and 10 of the book done. Sorry, 8 and 9. So.
Sure, we shouldn't talk about it.
No.
Okay. I did not expect that.
Yeah. We'll wait till you read the next one. So.
Fucker. Oh, that makes me so mad. Oh, that's gonna piss a lot of people off. Because there's a lot of fans.
But again, it's not happened in our timeline. And speaking of timelines, so if you, well, it's not happened yet because 50% of the party involved in that is not with us at the moment. So it literally can't have happened. But help clarify for me and probably other listeners. So the Exo Stranger stuck like timeline. So I read sometimes people say she's stuck in a time loop, which means to me she comes from this timeline and she's repeating. It's Groundhog Day. She's repeating the same events again and again. Yeah. Other people are saying she's come from a completely different timeline, like a different version of reality. Which is it? Or do we not know? Is this a piece of the puzzle that we just don't know yet?
I don't remember which part of this. Like it was specifically mentioned that where she always ends up.
Because she always says, "I'm not from this timeline. I'm not from this timeline." But then, she's stuck in the time loop. So if she's stuck in a loop, then she will always visit this timeline. So
that's how I read it. She always ends up back at the same point, and then it goes forward, and everything the same happens every time, and then she goes back to the same point.
People theorize it's the because we've not seen it, so it's not a spoiler. It's a potential destruction of the Traveler interacts with her darkness within her exoskeleton that then triggers her ability to time travel and sends her back to that point, and then she repeats it again and again.
So she can change.
But again, if that's the case, why does she end up in our timeline? Why not her own timeline? And that's the bit I'm stuck on, is if she's not from ours, why does she end up in ours every time? And who the hell was she talking to in Destiny 1? I still want it to be that we get something happen later on and we get the other half of that conversation.
Mm-hmm. I remember that she was originally supposed to be Osiris's partner. And then obviously that never happened, but
well, you never know. They could still do it in theory because they're making a lot of changes, aren't they, to put it how it originally was going to be. We've got Crow, we've got talk of Old Chicago on one of the Eververse items that's out now. So apparently, Old Chicago was supposed to be part of the original plan. So, and maybe that's the future. That is something to do with Savathun because apparently there's a monster under there of unfathomable power. So
underwear
under Old Chicago, there's a tomb in Old Chicago. It's called Old Chicago Tomb. It's on the Eververse Alderman for the season set, I think it is. The chess piece. So
okay, I read that. Yeah, I mean, I would love to see that, but yeah, I mean, this lore book, this is some of the best lore I've ever read.
Yeah.
I mean, people, if you can get chapter 8, holy crap. Chapter 8 is crazy, and then chapter 9's even crazier. But if you reach this part in the quest, chapter 9, you should already kind of know, because Elsie she basically says it. She says what happened in her past that's been haunting her every single time. So if you reach this part in the quest line for her, she'll say it. So really good stuff. So make sure that if you can't hear it very well, put on some subtitles. I play with subtitles just in case, because like you want to hear and pay attention. The way the storytelling has been, you need to hear it. Like you need to be paying attention because it's really, really good. And if you miss any of it, it ruins it for you. So yeah, I definitely think that this storytelling has been some of the best in all of Destiny 2. I mean this is light years ahead of vanilla. Light years ahead of seasons. D1, yeah. The only thing I think that's on par is Taken King. That's it.
Oh, yeah.
Like Rise of Iron was okay, but like Rise of Iron suffers from the same problem that Shadowkeep suffered from, that Warmind suffered from, that Curse of Osiris suffered from, where just as it was getting good, it was over. So this one, I feel like they're slowly gaining traction. They're slowly figuring out how they want to tell their stories and how to build it up. And I mean, this is just wow. I mean, Beyond Light, the storytelling is very, very good after the campaign. Like the campaign was very bare bones, very like whatever, but like this is really good. Yes, let's talk about the season storyline and whatnot and how that works and how that's working right now. I mean, with Crow and all that. I mean, I did the first mission this morning, like really, really early in the morning, and then I went to bed. But that first mission was good. It wasn't that long, but it was good. Yeah. I liked it. That big ass knight.
Suicide Squad.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that's what it feels like.
Putting the explosive in the shell.
Yeah,
which is pretty cool. That's going to be a plot point that's probably going to go wrong. So what I'd happen with that is him think that he's going to blow up Glint, and actually we've put it on himself or something like that. Because Spider's one that's got to turn on us at some point. There's too much there. He can't be an ally forever. So him turning on us and blowing himself up or whatever, and then Crow taking over. I think we mentioned last week, whether it was on the podcast or when we chatted afterwards, that Crow taking over and running the reef would he'd go full circle, but in the right way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like if Crow knows about it eventually and like switches it out or something and it blows up Spider instead, like that'd be really, really cool. Yeah, I agree. That'd be really funny.
Yeah.
I like Spider a lot, but that would be a great end for him. Like,
yeah.
But that big ass knight, holy crap!
Yeah, dude, it's huge. What was it called?
The
Lek? No,
it's like
I want to call it an incumbent, but that's just because we've been watching US politics a bit too much recently.
Yeah, so. It was something like that.
Yeah,
and he was freaking huge. Holy shit! And yeah, that's a cool story mission. It's not that long, but it's good. And like you're racing against time, which is really cool. And you're chasing this knight down. He keeps summoning enemies out of nowhere from dimensions. And then like now we understand. So I can definitely take back the whole Osiris being scared. Okay, now I get it. Like I know why Osiris was scared now. Like for all of you who don't know somehow, the reason Osiris was terrified of that knight is because, not really a spoiler alert, this has been out for a week now, so rest in peace, Sagira was killed off screen. How do you kill Sagira off screen? Like it's probably because they couldn't get the voice actress. But
they're a victim of COVID.
Sagira is dead. She's not coming back. So one of the greatest guardians of all time, he lost his ghost. He can't be rezzed. So that's why he was scared in the trailer. That's a message to Joker. You got to take it back now, all right? Because he had every right to be scared, you know? I take it back too. And now that I know that, I like it. Like, it's cool. Like, it shows that even a badass guardian like him, as soon as he lost his ghost, he's like, oh, fuck. Now, I still don't like that he was caught off guard. Like, how the fuck was he caught off guard? Knights are big. Knights are big and loud. I don't believe that a knight can stealth up on you. And if they can, if there's ninja knights, I'm terrified. I am terrified. Ninja knights. But that was a great reveal. That was a really good reveal for Crow. And then Glint, he's just like, guys, I told you it was dangerous. Like, I really liked it. And Crow's voice lines are good.
The voice actor has confirmed that is pulled pork, so it's the original Ghost still. So it's not like a new Ghost or a retcon or anything like that. He's just changed his name over the past 2 years as he's grown and developed along with Crow. He's changed. So
all right, that's nice. I mean, he looks the same. The Ghost looks the same, which is nice.
I didn't realize that the guy who does the voice for Glint is the guy who does the mocap for Guardians.
Really?
Yeah, so I learned that the other day. So all us walking around, that's actually Glint's voice actor. So doing the mocap.
Their little he's got another gig there.
It's pretty awesome.
I like Glint. He was cute. You know, he's like, guys, I told you it's not safe here.
Like, I like the introduction of him too. Like he calls out to them when you go into the dungeon there, and then Spark or our Ghost asks like, "Where's your guardian?" And it like just gives that little like sort of realistic sort of glimpse into that universe. I thought that was something we haven't seen before.
And he's like,
just seeing how stuff works.
Guardian. Right.
Because there are hundreds of ghosts out there, aren't they? Just floating around looking for guardians. So yeah, we don't see that.
I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, I like that. He was like, "Oh yeah, guardian, right? Yeah." Like, you know, I like that.
Yeah.
But I like that the spider's like, "Don't you fucking tell him who he is." God, you better not tell him who he is. Like,
Cyrus is the same though, isn't he? If you read his letter, he's like, "Don't tell him." He's like, "The truth will come out eventually, and I'll help you, but don't do it now."
Yeah. I really like that. I didn't expect that. I thought something was in my postmaster. I was like, "Ooh, what's this?" I really like that. Like Osiris is like, "Shut the fuck up!" Like, you know, like don't say shit.
I wonder where he is though, because apparently he's in the tower resting, but he's still sending communications to Zavala's office. So it's one of those things where you're literally next to each other, talk instead of sending email. It's like,
yeah, I would have preferred to talk to him in person. I would have liked like one of those little cutscenes that we've been getting with Elsie. Like I would have liked that, but I like that we got something. You know, that he does acknowledge it. I like that he knows.
Yeah. It was actually quite a bit of stuff we got from the Zavala's office like where you interact with the thing. So many voice messages. Have you gone to see those?
Yeah, have you been to Zavala's office?
Once.
There's a ton of Osiris stuff there if you interact with his computer. He's got like 20. He's got like 20 voice messages from Osiris, like long. You can sit there for like 15 minutes and listen to those. Yeah.
The latest one is to do with Mora, I think, isn't it?
Yeah.
I've not listened to that one yet.
Listen to them on a loop, like all of them, so you can catch up.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, so I'll do that definitely. Yeah, I mean, I really liked it. I think there was a great introduction to the season. I'm really excited to do my first Wrathborn hunt. I'm a little confused by how the table works, but like I'll learn.
Yeah.
But I'm definitely really interested. I think that the idea is really cool. I like that they're finding an interesting way to bring Xivu Arath into the perspective of like this shit, and like Crow's voice lines at the very beginning when you're talking to him. Really cool, really nice. Like I like how he's almost like smirking at you. Like he's like excited to be working with another Guardian who's not judging him. Like we're not judging him like all the other Guardians. Like we're kind of like, okay, like we have to do this. So I like that he's like kind of like almost excited.
Yeah.
You know, like it's cool. And like,
do you think he's going to go to the tower?
Well, I mean, he's blissfully ignorant of what people think of him in the tower. He thinks he's got some friends there, right? That's what he says.
Yeah.
I heard I got some friends there.
Imagine Zavala. He's going to be like, motherfucker! Ikora. I'm worried about Ikora Nova bombing him immediately.
Yeah.
Feel like Shaq. He'll be like, ah.
But that's the thing. Like, we haven't really gotten anything with this season with Ikora or Shax. Like, there's been nothing with them. Like, they haven't said shit. And like, I feel like the last couple of times they've been kind of like left out. And honestly, I'd be okay with Ikora dying at some point in the future. Not because I don't like her, but because like they haven't done anything with her.
It's weird, isn't it? Yeah. So many seasons, literally nothing.
I want to say it's the voice actress because of COVID, like conflict. But what about all the previous seasons to March time?
Exactly.
Well, also because like Lance Reddick
he finds a way to do his
He
voice.
records in his closet, don't he? He did a behind the scenes thing. Literally in a closet like that with us.
That's why I wish we could get an actual information from Bungie as to how that's working. Because like they gave up on Cade because they couldn't keep Nathan Fillion, and it's like, why couldn't Nathan Fillion record in his closet? I'm sure he's not the kind of guy who cares much about that, and I don't see how
Fillion didn't
expensive.
Didn't do Forsaken, did he? It was
no.
Well, that's part of the reason. Yeah. Like part of the reason they killed him off is because they couldn't really keep him, and they needed an important character to kill. Yes, I think losing Zavala would have been maybe not as big, but it would have been up there because like he's just been so involved in the story compared to Ikora, and so that's where I'm just a little confused as to like I don't really see how Ikora hasn't been involved since Season of the Undying, because if Lance Reddick can find time and Nolan North and all these people can find a way to work with them, why can't you work with her?
I'm sure there could be a million reasons why somebody doesn't work on the same thing for like 6 years straight. I can totally agree. I mean
I know that you guys know about what they said about the voice actors for the Guardians, like why they went from they had one for each voice and each gender, and now it's down to I believe it's one for male and one for female. Right. That's it. They cut down on their voice actors by like 90% for the Guardians because COVID, but also because of localization, because they do it in so many languages, so they didn't really think it's feasible anymore to like have a different voice actor for everything when it's easy just to have. So I think somebody did a video, I think it was Joker that did a video, but that's what got me to research the topic. And like basically like they kept the male Exo voice and then somebody else for the female, and they used them for all the Guardian voices. And they just I'm sure he changes his voice up a little. I mean, I'm an Exo, so like, and I only play on one character at this point, so I don't know what the other ones sound like. It's the same guy. But so maybe that's part of the reason, localization and like availability and money and blah blah blah. I would like to know. I don't think it's important to know. I would like to know, just pure curiosity, how Bungie does it and why they've made the choices they've done. I really do want to know why Ikora has been just like left on the side and why Shaxx has had like no development for a long time. Like, he hasn't done anything except for sing a song. Like, we've had no missions with him. We've had no story build up for him or how he feels about all this shit that's going on. So, especially right now, he was a huge part of the Battle of Twilight Gap against the Fallen, all that. This whole DLC is about Fallen. He hasn't said shit. Like, that's very interesting to me. Like, I really wish we could get some story with him about this, because I feel like he'd have a lot to say. I don't know. What do you guys think?
Well, we should get some Satan 14 stuff as well now, shouldn't we? Now Cyrus is back in the tower.
Yeah.
So we should get some interaction with them. Maybe
He's
some
super concerned.
About
these really interesting characters that have been kind of like left to the side for a little bit, and I think you bring up a good point, John, because Saint 14 has a deep hatred of the Fallen, and now we're starting to team up with Fallen. I would love to know how he feels about that. Like, and I guess the thing I'm really looking forward to this season is that one little bitty cutscene that we saw where Zavala was with the Cabal. I really want to see that. I really want to see how that develops. Because if that's going down the timeline of the Dark Future, but in a slightly different way, like, we stopped the bombardment. That's not going to happen now. So, are we going to team up? Are we going to start Mithrax's House of Light teaming up with us, along with the Cabal Red Legion stragglers and the Leviathans, like, stragglers? And, like, are they going to start teaming them up at the in the middle of this season, start building that up? I really hope so, because that'd be really cool.
Yeah,
I'm getting Mass Effect vibes. I'm really getting strong Mass Effect 3 vibes of like traveling the galaxy and getting all the races, like the Geth. Like the Geth. They were your main enemy in the first game, and you're getting the Geth, and you're getting the Turians, and you're getting the yes, crucify me in the comments. The Solarians, the Krogans,
yeah,
and the blue people.
whatever Liara was.
Yeah. Or Kalen, do you remember what the Liara was?
What?
The blue aliens from Mass Effect?
Oh, sorry.
Asari.
Asari,
Yeah,
of course.
I didn't care about the Asari. And
I
the Quarians.
I like some of the characters.
Yeah, they were cool. So I'm getting strong vibes of that.
Interesting enough, Samsara was played by Maggie Bard.
Who's that?
The mother of Billie Eilish.
Did you know that? I didn't know that. Well, listeners,
you knew about I told you about
I don't know.
Yeah.
When he talks, I never listen.
He voice acted Samsara.
Cool.
Cool.
I found out. Cool. I was like surprised. I'm like, no fucking way. I even looked it up just to confirm it, and I'm like, oh shit.
Huh. Well, there you go, listeners. Billie Eilish's mom. She voices a character in a game.
We need a segment every episode.
Yeah, Kalen, weird fun fact.
Yeah. Did you know?
Fun fact.
Make it so. There we go.
I wasn't a big fan of Billie Eilish's music, but then I found out her mom voiced Samsara. Now I love it. But that's really cool. I didn't know that. So,
it was interesting.
That's cool.
It was cool character.
Yeah. So other than that, the Lament Sword. I don't have it yet. I'm on my way to getting it. I know that. Did you both get it?
Yeah,
I've got it. Yeah.
So, what are your quick thoughts on that, huh?
Oh my god, yeah, it's good. It's
first of all, attack animation is incredible, isn't it?
Oh yeah, it's very very strong. Also, it's like the best DPS right now.
Oh yeah.
The healing on it, it's got a healing aspect which doesn't seem very strong though. So I'm like, so
yeah, but.
Yeah, my brother's watching a video about it, and he's just shredding through mobs like it's not even close. Like,
yep.
I used it earlier to kill, because one of the Wraithborn hunts is you have to kill them for a triumph, you have to kill them with a certain weapon, and it's a sword. So I used it to kill them. So that's pretty cool. So.
Well, then I definitely need to get it.
Yeah.
It definitely looks like it's just really fun. Like.
Yeah, it's hard to use. I feel, or it takes more thought to use it than just like spamming your trigger attack, whatever it is on your. Dark Trigger.
Yeah.
Guillotine, yeah.
Yeah, well, Guillotine. It, because we were saying before you joined, I was like, I didn't feel that it was as strong as Guillotine, because Guillotine, you run in and just press it and you just mow everything down. Whereas it's got great single target damage, but it's not a crowd clearer. So it's got a different use. So the only thing I'm disappointed with is that the rev up isn't. I expected it to be proper meaty, but you press it, it's just like you just hear that. I wanted you to hear like it's proper revving like Devil May Cry. That would have been awesome. But it looks great, and the attack animation when you're pressing left trigger to right trigger is something special. It's like Guillotine, where Guillotine, you first time you went in and spun around like that, you were just like, "What was that? What was that?" This has got the same effect. So.
Matrix. Yeah. I was hoping to get like a Gears of War, like rev, where it's like.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's what I was hoping for. Yeah.
And the lore behind it is good as well. So again, even though we know what the outcome of it is, a lot of people won't have got it finished yet. So if we save that for next week, because that reveal is massive as well.
And it's on the sword.
Yeah, it's the last part of the book as well. So.
Oh fuck! Like a lot of people are gonna be like, "What today?" They're gonna be like, "What?" Like,
even though it's hinted at throughout the storyline, and that's another good thing, because I'm not a big fan of, say there's 9 parts or something, and up to part 9 there's no even hint at a revelation, and then all of a sudden they go, psych, boom. This doesn't do that. The very first time you speak to a certain new character, they're like, hold on, did you just say what I thought you said? And then you're like, oh, what's going off there? And it drops little seeds. So the revelation is big, but it's not as mind-blowing as getting it spoiled like we did, because we didn't understand the outcome, the story, did we? We just got the outcome of the story, and we're like, that is massive. But doing the story, there are hints to it, which doesn't diminish the outcome, but it makes you understand and appreciate the writing of that lore book. So
yeah, and I mean, like some of these things that are scattered throughout the world on Europa that tease it, and at the moment you don't understand it. You're like, why is that there?
like the
And
little bobblehead.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like these bobbleheads and like these little words that you hear once in a while, or these little things that you hear, and then you understand the meaning behind it, or the meaning behind certain words or names and stuff. You understand why, and then it means a lot more, and you're like, oh, I get it now. Like, so yeah.
Now you guys both got the grenade launch as well, because you didn't have it last week, did you? When we recorded. How do you like it?
Oh, I really like it. I really, really like it. However, I want the ornament. I really want the ornament because it changes how it looks a little. Green's my favorite color, so I just want the ornament because it turns it green. But it doesn't work the way I thought it was gonna work, but I like it. I think it's probably really good on a Titan. I think as a hunter, I'm struggling to grasp it fully.
Well,
I like
actually,
it a lot, but I don't think I'm using it right.
I haven't used it since I got the aspect where you can smash into the ground and detonate.
Say, that coupled with the fragment that when you do shatter a crystal, it regenerates your grenade.
So, oh fuck! Now that fragment's useful for me. I forgot.
Yeah. So I charge it, chuck it in, kill stuff, shatter that, and my grenades just recharging really quick. So
I gotta try that when I get off this. Then I'll try that during my Wrathborn hunt or something. I don't know, but that's a good idea. I didn't think of that.
That grenade launch is really good because if you've not done any Wrathborn hunts yet, the first one is in a really small enclosed space, and that grenade launch is really good in there because you just freeze both sides of the room and just take out one side, take out the other side, and then work on the boss.
Okay.
Because the other arenas are quite big, whereas that one is a really small arena. So.
And do these Wrathborn hunts take place in like different planets, or are they just on the same planet?
So that's what I was gonna say. Like, they're giving a new purpose to the Dreaming City and the Tangled Shore. Like, that's what they're using. That's why they're keeping them around. I feel like all this stuff with, first of all, Mara is still relevant. Aldrin, like Crow, all this stuff is still relevant. But so it seems like the Wrathborn hunts so far are just on Tangled Shore and Dreaming City, and they're utilizing some cool areas too. Like, they're using the you remember the hunts you did for who was it? in the Forsaken campaign? You had these lieutenants. Yeah, so the Barons, all their boss rooms and stuff. So at least in one case, you have one that takes place in one of those. So I'm loving that they're like trying to use those areas to great effect.
And then the Dreaming City is on so the like top left hand corner of the map, like the royal area, like the really highborn type stuff. It's there. It's good. So
I haven't been in Dreaming City in like 8 months. I'm not gonna lie, I haven't been there in that long.
I love that there's a reason now to go there.
Well, if you're doing the new light stuff, there's the new light campaign takes you there as well. So yeah.
Oh well, I haven't done the strike part yet. I haven't done that.
You're not finished yet. When you finish it, it takes you to there, and it gives you a quest for Crucible, Gambit, and Strikes as well, and there's a reward for all that. So.
Oh, okay.
It's good.
So okay. Well then, each of you, why don't you both give us your opinions on the Wrathborn hunt so far? Like as content and like the loot from the season, like the armor design, weapons, like. So we'll start with John, and then we'll go to Nick, and let's give your opinions. I can't give an opinion really yet, so.
So in terms of armor design, I'll be honest, I just break it down and infuse what I've got because I like what I'm wearing. So that's why the transmog next season will be good for me because I'll be able to actually equip new items. The weapons, I'm about to unlock the last weapon. I'll do it after we finish on here, and they're good. So the grenade launcher has got it's got a dual mode, so you can go in and you can change it. And the base mode I didn't enjoy because it's impact like on an enemy, whereas the other one is splash damage, and it sends out a little void shockwave, which is good for clearing like groups of ads. So you freeze them, send that out, shatter, boom, Again, it's just
which grenade launcher is this?
It's called. I've not got it on me. So Royal Chase is the scout rifle. The grenade launcher is. You get your thingy, Snake, and I'll find it. So, why you give your thoughts?
Well, so my thoughts on the weapons, pretty much. Well, we'll see when we get the grenade launcher there. But yeah, to get the scout rifle's fine. The loot's fine. Like it's like a loop, right? That's designed to go like in between your normal stuff. So it's not designed as something you can sit in for hours like Menagerie, which I still think is like their strongest sort of season offering. But so it's definitely a more of a complementary thing. It's not like a be all end all sort of thing you can do for days. But yeah, so it's you go in there, you do a couple, then go out. Like it's a nice cadence, but it is this thing where a lot of people I know are gonna take issue with the fact that you have to like dip out of it, so you can't go in and play it. Now I'm gonna do this for an hour. Basically, you do it a little bit, then you go into strikes, crucible, gambit. Then you do a little bit of it, then you go strikes, crucible, gambit. So they're like, it's the basic thing where they're trying to like pad everything with just the normal stuff. And for me personally, it's fine. It's been working out fine, but I can see how that's an issue for some people.
Yeah, I really like that, as I've said in our chat, that it breaks up the gameplay loop. So I will pick up that. I'll have no charges, so I'll go and do some crucible games, charge it up to 3, go and do 3 of them, go and do some gambit, charge it up to 3, go and do some strikes, etc. I really, really like that. And worst case, if you want to go and do some without having a charge, team up with a friend. If you want to just go and play that for an hour and just get the loot from the boss and not the loot from the lore, then team up with other people and do them, because that takes from having 3 to having 6 or 9 if you go as a full fire team. So
I thought you can't get loot without the lore.
The boss still drops stuff, don't they? I don't know. I've not done that. I'm more of a solo player.
I don't think it does. Recon data maybe, but not.
Yeah, even recon data is good for leveling up. But the grenade launcher is called Deafening Whisper. So.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not entirely sure, because I haven't done one yet. But, I mean, I don't really have a huge opinion about the weapons yet, obviously, because I haven't tried them. I mean, I got the breech loaded grenade launcher, and I was talking to Nick about how I got underdog on it, and that's actually sounds really interesting. And it's a wave frame, which is that cool. One? It's the breech loaded one, the special one. It's a wave frame.
That's the one we're talking about.
Oh, that's the one? It's got 2 modes?
Well, I mean,
if
you got like blinding grenades or something on it, like
it's got high velocity rounds, or it's got implosion rounds.
Oh, it's always got those 2?
I bet there's others.
Whatever. So you've got. So it comes with velocity launch and linear compensator as one of 2 that you pick from. Like you switch it. Then it's got high velocity and implosion. So if you press Y on it, you can change like the firing. Like normally you can change between like firing modes and stuff, can't you? Like between quicker reload or more stability. So it's that. Right. It's the first lot of perks. So you pick those, and then it comes with Killing Wind, because these are set. It doesn't roll random ones.
Oh.
So the only thing that is random is the perks, like the actual perks. But the firing modes, those things, the second column, that's set.
Second column is 2. Yeah. So I'm looking at light.gg here for the possible perks. Yep.
Yeah. So implosion and high velocity, I believe, are set.
Yes.
Yeah, so, and I use implosion round because high velocity it hits a target and it explodes, whereas the implosion is good for clearing groups, and I'm more of I want to just chuck a grenade down and carry on firing. So
on that, I'm going to switch to implosion.
Yeah, so I use that. So Killing Wind is a trait, and then it comes with Rampage as a trait as well. So
yeah, those they have 6 for each column there, 6 possible perks. with some pretty good perks. I'm looking at it right now. You got Wellspring, Auto Loading, Killing Wind. Ambitious Assassin is super nice because you get a kill, then you reload, then you have 2 in a breach loaded.
That's
Imagine
really
that. Yeah, that's super, super good. You can fire twice without having to reload.
That with Rampage or Wellspring would be nasty.
Yeah, exactly.
I didn't realize it had those perks. Like, that's really good. The Europa assault rifle has some interesting perks. You can get Outlaw, Triple Tap, Subsistence, Dragonfly, Thresh, Vorpal
What's that
Weapon.
called?
It's called Arctic Haze. Honestly, I think the best possible role you could get is that. I mean, look at some of these rolls.
Found Exploring Europa. Yeah, I've not had it yet.
Tac Mag, Flared Magwell, Appended Mag, actually. That Appended Mag with Outlaw and Dragonfly. I love Dragonfly. I think it's just because I like the explosions, but that'd be a really good roll.
So it's a 720. Yeah, that's good. That's cool.
Coriolis Force has some interesting rolls.
That's actually a new kind of. We haven't seen that kind of fusion before. It fires like vertical. No, I mean horizontal.
Yeah, which is why it can get 1 for all, because like you're more likely to hit multiple targets because of the way the spread works.
Yeah.
But it can get Thresh, which I feel like would be good on a fusion. Rangefinder and all that. Slideways. Feeding Frenzy. It's got some interesting rolls. I think the one I have is pretty trash, but you can get some interesting rolls on that.
Yeah. I have like Under Pressure and Rangefinder, which is amazing in PvP.
Oh, I bet.
Yeah.
But do you guys know how to get... My brother says you get Stars and Shadow from Crucible just by farming Crucible.
Yeah, I've had 2 or 3
I've
of them.
had like 4 or 5.
I haven't gotten one yet.
Yeah.
I
thought it was brand new. It's not a brand new. What drop is it? I thought it was new this expansion, but
it is this expansion, yeah.
Oh, is it? Oh, okay.
Yeah, but it's from the season. Yeah. It's not from Beyond Light, I believe.
And it's your like Hopscotch Pilgrim or whatever, or Nerwan's Mercy kind of frame.
I really like it. It's got a lot of cool rolls, and I haven't even gotten one yet, and I really want one.
That's the one that had Thresh on it, so it's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, Outlaw, Field Prep, Feeding Frenzy, Disruption Break, Kill Clip, Demolitionist, Dragonfly, Vorpal Weapon, Headseeker. Like, this thing can get a ton of rolls. Almost too many rolls.
Yeah, so it's gonna be super hard. Like, same with Xenoclast. It seems to have like every single perk available. Look at that. That's 12 perks per column for.
I got a Xenoclast earlier that I'm happy with. It's dual loader. And Disruption Break. So having that for like a Nightfall that's arc based, or doing the Empire hunts, going in there because a lot of the shields are arc, so it's just like boom. So
yeah, I definitely I still think there's not enough weapons and armor in the game.
Well, they've changed that, haven't they? We've not talked about the 12 because there's not a huge amount in it. It's a lot of bug fixes. But they've bought out loads of vaulted stuff so that we can get.
When is that happening, by the way?
I thought it happened straight away. I thought it went live when they did the mini patch on Thursday.
No,
I haven't noticed it.
I don't think that's in just yet.
Double check then. I thought it was. I thought it was. They'd done it there. If not, then it'll probably be on Tuesday's patch. So
I'm checking.
But that's a band-aid fix, and it's one that it will appease people because there'll be some people out there like me that won't have.
November 24th.
Oh, so Tuesday.
So 2 days. So week at the reset.
Yeah. So
if you complete the raid by December 1st, the jacket will be available.
Yeah, the jacket looks awesome.
That's a parka. That is cool.
It comes off though, and it becomes just a jacket underneath.
It becomes a vest.
Yeah. So.
I really want that.
Yeah, it looks good.
Probably gonna be super expensive.
Worth it though. I don't actually own any Destiny clothing.
Oh, charity stuff. All right, let's talk about that real quick. There's a charity. We invite all of our Bungie community members to sign up to host your own stream between December 1st and December 13th. We have some incredible prizes. On Giving Tuesday, December 1st at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, we'll be kicking off a 24-hour streaming marathon with some of our favorite influencers from a variety of channels, including Twitch and Facebook Gaming, blah, 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 two-way campaign, blah, blah, blah. Donation incentives. A $25 donation will grant you the 2019 Mist Blossoms emblem and Gilded Shell Exotic Ghost. Those are old stuff. A $50 donation will earn you all that stuff plus this new Lightkeepers emblem. I mean, it's a really cool looking emblem. So if you donate $50 to get that, and if you donate $100, you'll get all of that, and they will enter you to win from the prize pool. Prizes include GameStop/EB Games gift cards, Destiny 2 Beyond Light Digital Deluxe Editions. I don't really see how that'd be. At this point, why you
gift it, can't you?
So you're going to pay $100 to gift something to someone?
Well, no, you're paying $100 to donate to charity.
Yeah.
And if you happen to win, then you gift it.
Yeah, I guess.
Or in my case, I don't have it because of Game Pass, and I'm absolutely dying to have no time to explain. So
yeah, that's true. Are you trying to get me to donate to this?
I'm getting wrecked in Crucible by it. I just literally see this little black void thing, and I go, "Oh no!"
Dude, the catalyst makes it nasty.
Oh yeah.
Stop it.
Stasis changes.
That's part of the problem.
See, it looks like Warlocks got nerfed a bit.
A little bit.
Oh yeah, a little bit.
Destroyed. That's why I don't want to talk about it. Can we move on?
It's actually a bit,
it's too much. It's too much. So.
Jeez Louise. So they're trying to target changes in PvP specifically. They sound like they're a little nervous about it. They're not sure if this is the right fix yet.
Well, the thing was that they mentioned at the beginning is they had to rush this out to basically make it so that the Warlocks don't destroy the new raid, because there was like insane DPS stuff. So at the same time, they took the opportunity to also push out a couple like quick fixes for
the meantime.
Yeah.
So some of the things they're doing is removing all legendary weapons that hit their infusion cap at the end of the season.
So Season of Dawn.
That's weird to me because the moon weapons are going to get yanked in. And it's like they've literally only been in the game for a year.
No, they're already gone.
Yeah, and it's just like lame. I can't get over that.
No, but moon weapons have been sunset already. But the thing that's going is Dawn stuff.
Yeah, Dawn stuff. But I'm saying like it just puts it back into perspective. Because I've only been to the moon once this season to do that mission. So like it puts it back into perspective for me of like these weapons were so well designed and so well like I don't know if people have really paid attention. Turn off the music in your game and all that. Turn up your headphones. Get Loud Lullaby.
Yeah, exactly.
Somehow and shoot it. You will hear it scream.
Yeah.
Like that's incredible.
That weapon is the biggest tragedy about sunsetting for me. It's such a beautiful, awesome weapon. That right now, when they're 120s, when they're like got their moment in the sun, like now it would shine. But no.
Oh my god! I had an Outlaw Demolitionist one for PvE. Oh, nice. So good, and it's gone now. And
I'm still using it in PvP, but yeah,
I don't have it anymore. I'd have to farm for it again. But the problem is like they made a live action version of it with gloves. For the trailer, and it was so beautiful looking. I was like, oh, I don't understand. Like, if a gun's been in the game for a year, why you would sunset that? I don't think I'm ever going to come to terms about that because I just think that's insane. Add all the 7th Seraph weapons from Season 10 because people have been asking for that, and because the mods from 7th Seraph weapons are so good right now.
Yeah.
People want them, and I don't blame them because I've been using the hand cannon and the shotgun, and I've been out. I made my character good with those war mine cells, and it's just insane.
Another thing that was introduced in that same season that they're bringing back now, season 11, was, if I'm not mistaken, like the Ikalos stuff, right? Because they're saying reprisal weapons from
I believe so.
were brought back. So Ikelos shotgun that was only like available from the last encounter in Prophecy.
I never got a good roll of that, so I don't think
The two different versions, aren't they, though? Because the one from Prophecy and the original one, they're literally called like 0.1 and 0.2. So it depends which one they bring back.
They said the reprisals from season 11.
Okay.
So it literally will be the 0.2 ones.
Yeah.
That one didn't even have that many good rolls, to be honest, unfortunately.
Yeah, that's true. Well, Trench Barrel is the one you want.
Weight drop chances, so the newer an item is, the more likely it is to drop, blah, blah, blah. And that's coming out on the 24th, like you said, so on Tuesday. I mean, those are good changes. I mean, they're kind of necessary given that Warmind cells were clearly meant to be good this season. So, like, obviously, it makes sense for them to make it so that players can get those weapons.
So that means, like, get your old fashions now until Tuesday, because old fashion's going to get yeeted now.
Yeah. I mean, I got a nasty dire promise, so, but, yeah, you know, I agree with you. I mean, I'm really sad that Perfect Paradox is about to be shit next season. Like, that sucks.
You still got 80 odd days, haven't you? So enjoy it. Enjoy it.
I'm gonna run that gun into the ground. I'm gonna use as much of it as I can.
Be using it today, yeah.
I'm just sick of using the trial shotgun. It's too slow for me. It's just way too slow of a weapon for me. So, like, I really hope I get that shotgun from the raid because that's a lightweight and it's sexy. But yeah, I mean, you know, so, you know, the weapons this season are good. There's not enough.
A lot of them, so, yeah.
Just like the armor this season is cool. There's just not enough. I definitely think that the vendor armor sucks. I think it's really boring.
Yeah.
Really, really boring. I don't like any of it. Like, I literally hate it all. So I don't even use it. And if I do, I put an ornament on it because I think it's ugly and bland. I think it's incredibly lazy that all three have the same armor. I'm not going to get over that. I'm not going to shut up about it because I don't think we should, like, be okay with it. I think it's very important that we get these vendor refreshes. They don't have to be amazing vendor refreshes, but they do have to be different.
Yeah,
like, they have to be their own thing.
I still remember running into the tower in D1 when I remember the vendor refresh, was it for Rise of Iron or something, when we got Palindrome and Event Horizon and all those, like, very distinct looking, you know, all the different, you had the Vanguard vendors got new weapons, you got the Crucible vendors got new weapons. That's such a big deal. Like, it feels like a new game again.
Yeah.
If you do that.
Renews your grind. It renews you going, like, I want to farm all season for this weapon, you know.
Yeah.
And, like, I remember when Taken King had, like, the Bog Wild armor for characters, and that was sick.
Yeah.
And it was well designed. Like, it had feathers and shit all over it. This armor is as bland as it could possibly be. Yeah. Like, this reeks of D2 vanilla. Like, D2 vanilla armor. So that's really disappointing for me because, like,
exactly,
it's so ugly. Like, and there's no, like, armor set that looks good. Like, all three classes, those armor sets look ugly. Like, they're total shit. Like, blah. So, yeah, I'm not okay with that. I'm really not okay with. I'm never gonna not be okay with a vendor refresh not happening.
No, I agree.
For me,
but
so
I think to wind down on a positive. What is the favorite thing you've experienced in Beyond Light so far? So whether it's a quest, whether it's something happening, or whether it's me sending little videos of me killing Vex with my Sparrow.
That was hilarious.
Or what? What's your favorite thing? Because I know what mine is. So, you guys go ahead, and then if we will wind down on that.
I'm gonna cheat. I have two. So the one was.
Yeah, of course you do.
One was seeing the raid.
Yeah,
it was such a beautiful moment. Like, I wasn't even playing, and just seeing all those reveals. Yeah, and the second one was actually earlier today. I was doing the sword quest and going down to the place you're gonna see, but just accessing that new area, I just had a moment where I was like, this is cool. This is exactly the aesthetic I love. This is exactly the kind of mission I want to be doing.
So clean, isn't it, as well?
Yes. So that for me.
On that, for yourself and for listeners, if they're not thinking, there are 2 exo bodies to scan on the way down there. So if you need to scan them, so there's one in the room with the bobblehead. You both know what I mean, don't you?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's one in the corner of that room, and then the other one is so Nick will know it from description. Dimitri may recognize it. When you drop through a glass like Oculus in the floor that's broken, you drop down there, and then there's some green pathways. There's one lent up against a terminal before you go through the white pathway.
Okay.
It's just there. So that's 2. So obviously you need 9 for the full completion. I've got 7 so far. I haven't found the other 2, but those 2 I discovered.
I wasn't even aware.
I don't know if I know the second one.
I don't know if I know this one.
Because you need 3 to do the quest, and those those 3 weren't too bad. I found 2 myself, and then I had to look for the third one. And then those 2 I discovered today because of the Varix perk. Because that's how I know it doesn't do it within 12 meters, because I tested it. I threw my my melee out, which is 12 meters now. Oh no, it's 18 meters. Sorry, it's had 12 meters taken off, but I threw that out anyway, and it was within that distance of that hitting the wall, so it's within 18 meters. So
okay, so then I don't think I know that where that second body is.
Well, you don't. You've not been there yet, so
no.
I don't think.
But the third body, that one body, okay, I think I know where that is. And then
the first,
I know you said there's one in Eventide, so
yeah,
I definitely gotta go look for those. I gotta log in.
Anyway, what's your thing, Dimitri? Sorry, I digressed.
No, you're good. It's really tough. I think at the moment, because I haven't progressed as far as you guys with some of this stuff, right now it's the storyline with the stranger. I'm really enjoying the cutscenes with the stranger, and like talking to her and hearing her express her memories and her regret and her fear. So I like that they're fleshing her out and fleshing out the backstory of Clovis Bray and Anna Bray and all that. Like, this is what I was wanting. Like, it's not a full-fledged campaign that I wanted and with full cutscenes and stuff, but it's enough, and it's done in a good way, in a very well-written way. So I really like it. That's my favorite thing. Yeah.
Awesome.
Sweet. So mine is. You both experienced it now, I think, where Ghost takes over for Drifter.
Yeah,
just absolutely incredible. So it was just amazing. And when I read into it afterwards, apparently they had to get Nolan North to be less like Drifter, because he actually nailed Drifter the first take of it, because he's that good of a voice actor. He was literally Drifter, so they had to get him to be worse. And that just a testament to Nolan North, isn't it? How much of a voice god he is. But it was just so good, and I want more of that. I want more of, Ikora can't help you because she's working with Osiris to figure out what his limits are now. Now he hasn't got a ghost, so I will be Ikora.
And they just have Nolan North be Ikora henceforth?
Yeah,
it's just like voice everyone.
Yeah. Oh, Lance Reddick's out there doing the voice for Horizon Zero Dawn 2 or Horizon Forbidden West, whatever. He can't do it, so Zavala's not around because he's currently having a crisis of faith. He's gone on a retreat. Here's Ghost to talk with Zavala for a mission.
Yeah. I need him to say indeed.
Yeah. Oh, indeed, traveler. So yeah, it came out of nowhere as well. It was so well done, and it's one of the positives.
It on Instagram, unfortunately, but I thought it was like brief. I didn't know it was going to be the whole mission.
Yeah,
and it wasn't something where I was like, ah, ha, 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 but like I thought it was hilarious. I'm like smirking the whole time. Like every time he says something, I'm like, oh my god, like I'm just like smirking the whole time. And then he's like, nah, too wordy. Like
yeah.
Yeah,
and it was just so good, and I want to see more of it. I want it to become a thing. So
I loved it.
It's cool.
All right, sounds good.
So let's wind this down. Thanks for listening to episode 2 of the new season for us. And thanks for sticking by us once again. This has been a work in progress for us, and we're enjoying it a lot. So, we do this just because we love this game as much as you guys. So, having your support means a lot. So, thanks for listening to this episode of the Deep Stone Podcast, and much thanks to longtime guests Nick and John.
Thank you very much.
Cheers, guys. Take care.